still absolutely blown away. 2 days after the meal, you can see the urates, by the way, down here. Mike just cleaned this about an hour ago. Anacondas, when they eat, they actually urate, and that's a solidified urine, basically what happens. But I've never seen any other snake do it other than anacondas like this, and she'll do this 2 or 3 times a day for like about a week because that giant lump right there. And I wanted to kind of give you guys the tour of the compound, right? We look at the reptarium often, right? I mean, obviously we've got Ivy over here, we've got Flamin' Hot Cheeto, Helen, we've got all the animals here, Baby Kush is over here. You guys know that, by the way, we have the Gira fish that seems to be doing very, very well now that we've actually cooled the water off. It seems to have done the trick. And we've done the tour of the reptile zoo, you know, walking around with cupcakes, my beautiful girl Perdita. I mean, I could keep going on, right? You know, obviously Drogo the sloth, and coming around all the way to Salt and Pepper. Speaking about lumps, man, can you see this? Look at this lump in the snake right here. What happened was we tried to feed Gemma a big pig because she's a big animal. She didn't eat, so we thought, we don't want to waste it, right? You know, you'd have to throw it away, and I don't like to do that. We fed Sunfire, and my goodness, 3 days later, she is ginormous. Of course, look at my girl down here with the black-headed python, still kind of wrapping up like she's got eggs going on. She's still doing that maternal incubation. Now, interestingly enough, pythons will maternally incubate their eggs. They'll protect their egg for the entire time that the eggs are incubating, but only Burmese pythons actually thermoregulate. What happens is they'll actually twitch their body. That kinetic energy actually raises the temperature of the eggs. They can keep the eggs at 88 or 89 degrees. If the temperature drops down to like 82 degrees, they kinetically just twitch. All other pythons protect the egg and certainly can trap heat, but they can't actually make heat. So only Burmese pythons do that, which I find really weird. As a matter of fact, when a Burmese python is ready to lay, 2 or 3 days before she lays, you always know she's going to, because she'll start to twitch. And then she'll twitch for 2 or 3 days, then lay her eggs, and then you see her wrapped around, and every few seconds you see. It's really an amazing thing. It's been years since I bred Burmese pythons, but I remember it so well. It's such a cool thing to see. Whereas black-headed pythons, they're just protecting their eggs.
Oh no. Hey, rascal. If you do that, see, he thinks I'm petting him. Maybe. Oh.
I know, I saw that. Did you do it this morning?
It was beautiful 20 minutes ago.
Well, Mike, you know what I always say, job security.
That's not. There's so much too.
So regardless, you know, we've done the tours of the reptarium. You've seen every single animal in here, although we're adding stuff all the time. What I wanted to do is take you on the tour of the rest of the place and give you an idea where everything is situated too, because you'll see like certain things you may not know, like understand what's actually going on. So right beneath our feet right here, that is actually the colubrid room and the New Caledonia room. So let's head downstairs. So again, this is 1.0 right here. Below 1.0 is actually the VIP podcast room. We may do some more podcasts. It's kind of deep time, so I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do here. We've got the lab where we actually do all our editing and stuff like that. Noah and Gabby, hey guys. We'll shut the door on them. Creepy pictures on the wall over here. This is where the actual podcast room is, so that you guys get an understanding. So right now, if you're thinking about it, Bowser's tank is right above me right here. Right above me, that's Bowser's tank. So when you walk through the door into the reptarium, you're basically walking in here. So this is where the entrance is to the reptarium 1.0. And then 2.0 is on the other side of that wall, just to give you guys an idea. But then, of course, right next to us, so of course, then we walk into here, and this basically, of course, is the New Caledonia room, which, by the way, look at all the eggs that are starting to pile up in here. So it's interesting. They seem to, oh, wait. Check it out. This is amazing. This is a fresh baby here. This is a gargoyle gecko, and it's just hatching right now. Look at that. How awesome is that? Life like that. That is amazing. I live for those moments. Obviously, we have some lychee eggs. We've got gargoyle eggs. We've got some crested eggs. We even have some cave gecko eggs here. But the production season is just getting going. Usually around now through June, July is when we'll really start getting a lot of eggs out of this room. Thank you, Raycon, for sponsoring this video. You guys know that I love this product. Been using them for years, and I absolutely adore them. Raycon is a premium audio at a price point that doesn't break the bank. That way you can create great habits without breaking the bank. Even though I know you're going to love your Raycons, because everyone that buys them absolutely does, Raycon wants to make sure that you feel good about your purchase. They offer a buy it now, pay it later option, and every product has an easy and free return policy. So it's no wonder that Raycon has over 50,000 5-star reviews. They have some really cool sound profiles as well. If you're like me that likes to listen to heavy music, especially when I'm trying to calm down, I know that seems weird. I actually use the bass profile, and all you have to do is press the L for 3 3 seconds to change to another profile. And like I said, I always prefer the base profile. They also have this really cool feature that's noise isolating versus awareness mode. Basically, if you're like just kind of cleaning snakes, or you're getting yourself into things where you just want to just listen to music and not hear anything, it's noise isolating. Or you can go to awareness mode. Let's say I'm cleaning snakes, but I want to hear what Mike is doing, or I need to know what's going on. You can put it on awareness mode so it's still really great quality sound, but you can hear what's going on around you. And I know one thing that people ask me all the time is we all make mistakes, right? These guys actually have durability, sweat, and water resistance. Basically what that means is that if for some reason you have your Raycons in your pocket and you put your pants through the washer, they're okay. Or hey, you leave it outside sometime, rains, it's gonna be okay. We all make mistakes and Raycon has us covered. Click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/BrianB and get 15% off your order. You can just see all the different geckos. Obviously the lychee geckos here. This was my first lychee I ever got. This was actually Big Bertha, and this is the first one that I ever got. Really, really cool. And she's super sentimental to me. Regardless, now again, to put your mind in it, is the doorway to get into the reptarium. It's basically on the other side of this wall right here. And right above us here is actually Matilda. Matter of fact, there was a vent back there before, and she used to pee in it, and pee would actually go into these cages. So we had to seal it off. Obviously, we didn't know. It's tortoise pen right here. Lucy is going to be right here to give you an idea, and then we'd walk over here. It's a little bit messy because we're redoing some things, and of course, you know, we had the colubrids up for sale and kind of shipping some animals out, rearranging, but this was the colubrid room. So again, now if you think about, you know, for where we're at with the reptarium, now that we're in the back part of 1.0, right, where the tarantulas are, Bella is, that's where we're getting at. But we have all these amazingly beautiful snakes down here, scaleless Texas rat snakes, and like I had mentioned, unfortunately, this group is going to go away because it's just best for us right now. I remember this pink-eyed leucistic when it was a baby, and she's produced eggs for us the last 2 or 3 years. Pink-eyed leucistics were something that were around quite a bit, I would say about 20, 25 years ago, and then you hardly ever saw them, and then all you saw was actually normal leucistics with black eyes. When that came available, I was like, oh, I've got to get it. You know, now an interesting pair of snakes that hasn't sold yet, and I don't know if they will sell, and if they don't sell, I'm not going to be mad about it, of course, are the greenish rat snakes. I've always just really love it. We only have one pair. Lori has always hated the greenish rats. She just doesn't like them. You know, they're usually a little bit nippy and a little bit high-strung, but I just think they're absolutely amazing. That's the female there, and then look at how beautiful the male is here with that striping. And these guys actually come from Florida. Those are still available. Maybe they'll sell, maybe they won't. If they don't, we'll breed them and see what happens. We want to get down to a point where we're at about, you know, probably less than 30 adult colubrids. I think that that's manageable, right? This is another snake. I remember hatching this snake probably about 5-6 years ago. This is a coral ghost corn. You guys have seen the coral snows that are like really pink. Well, this is the ghost version of it. So basically the same animal with hypomelanism and some melanin in there, right? The ghosts are actually black corn snakes that are hypomelanistic, and then they're polygenically bred to have like this beautiful pink. Again, it's been bittersweet. There's no doubt about it. Getting rid of some of these animals, seeing them go, seeing this room slowly kind of empty out. A lot of these animals that actually are here, these are all our corn snakes, you know, strawberry diffused corn snakes right here. They used to call blood red corn snakes, and then strawberry is like a form of hypo, another recessive mutation. You know, a lot of these snakes are actually sold too. They're just ready to go out for shipping. I don't want to pack them. I'm not going to. I don't want to see them because I know I'll shed some tears because I remember each one of these animals. And even though we have tons and tons of animals down here, the fact is I remember these animals when they were born. I remember this specific one because we picked it out because it had such a beautiful pattern. Oh, it's trying to bite me. Look at that thing. Woo! Woo! Come on, little monkey. But I remember this pattern being like, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful albino California king snake, and deciding to raise up. And this is the first year that this female will actually produce. It's going to produce for whoever buys it because we're not going to keep that animal. But I can go through every animal, and like I said, even knowing that we have all these things, again, you know, just even opening up this one, this is an albino extreme Honduran milk snake. We hatched this about 5 years ago. I remember the clutch. We had 3 or 4 of the animals that came out with what they call vanishing pattern, which instead of being like red, orange, and yellow, they're more like red, and yellow. I remember when that one hatched, and I think we're actually going to keep these Hondurans. This is one of the animals. I think there's a handful of animals on this side that actually Lori has said that this is going to keep. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, like this area here is basically all the adult colubrids. And we do have some stuff that we're coming up, that we're raising up, that we're going to keep as well. We'll see those in a second. All right, back upstairs, Reptarium 1.0. Let's head over to BHB, which is right out this door. And then head over one door over this way. There's actually 3 doors on this, right? There's BHB, there's Reptarium 1.0 and Reptarium 2.0. So let's walk in here. So of course this is BHB, and this is where, like, when we moved from our big building, everything was here and down in the dungeon. We'll go down in the dungeon here pretty soon. Of course, Speedy, look at him. He's like, I found the motherland. And the motherland, he's got a pile of greens, which he's absolutely just crushing. I mean, what an amazing animal. Won't be long before we actually be able to take him back to the house and let him wander around. These are, again, some snakes that we're going to keep, like the albino wool snakes that I love to death. They're not big enough to breed this year, but next year they should be big enough to breed. Go ahead and give that a shot down the road. A few other things, you know, there's like this here. This is the Ridley eye, which is a cave-dwelling rat snake. That's an animal that we hope to get on display at the old Reptarium or the new Reptarium. Some of this stuff is going to go and some of this stuff is going to stay. I'd mentioned that we're going to keep all of the Boega, you know, all of the Divergence and the Melanota and the Gemma Cincta and all that type of stuff. We're going to keep these guys because they're just absolutely too amazing, and I just love them to death. We will definitely be selling some babies this year, there's no doubt about it. This used to be all our breeder colubrids before we built the room down in the basement. All the breeders were here. When I first started vlogging, this is where I was pulling eggs from right here. And this side is razors. Like I said, we have a bunch of razors. Some of these are up for sale and some of them we're going to keep. Like, for instance, the file snakes. We're definitely going to keep the file snakes. These are Cape file snakes from South Africa. Something I really love. They're not ready to breed this year. Definitely going to be able to breed next year. So we're going to keep those guys. A few other things, but stuff that we were going to raise up, breed in the future, we're now not going to. This is our leopard gecko colony here, guys. We used to have leopard geckos all down this row and all down this row, and we actually just reduced our leopard geckos just to a handful of groups, and that was because we wanted to really specify on what we were producing. So rather than producing hundreds or maybe even thousands, I think at the peak we produced like 9,000 geckos, we've now decided to keep smaller groups. And you can see we just keep 2 females, or 2 Darkmoor females right here. We just keep those 2 females, and then we cycle a male through those 2 females in here. We keep a pretty simple setup here. We just have a moist spot for them to lay in. We have water, we have mealworm, and we just keep them relatively simple. We cycle that male through, and hopefully this year we'll produce maybe just a 200 or 300 leopard geckos, but they'll be really, really amazing ones. Again, all these racks used to be full. We moved the colubrids downstairs, we moved out all the geckos. You know, realistically, what I wanted to do was move these racks out and sell them off or whatever, and then build more offices here so that as we expand across the street, the offices will be here, right? And now, again, when you're thinking, where are we at here as far as up and down, because everything has basement, downstairs is the dungeon, right? So the dungeon is where we keep the pythons. We're going to head there now. Before we head there, we'll actually see just a couple last little things. These are, of course, the little milk frogs that we have going. Look at how big they're getting, guys. Just a couple months ago, they were little tadpoles, and now they're little frogs. And this is, of course, where we keep some of the other geckos, the New Caledonian geckos that aren't in the New Caledonia room. These are a bunch of gargoyles, not too many leechies, but we do have crested geckos and stuff like that. Jessica takes care of here. So this whole section here is basically geckos as well. Let's go ahead and head to the dungeon. The dungeon. I cannot wait to get this Mata into a giant enclosure. It's going to be a really beautiful, like 4 foot by 4 foot, big, tall, beautiful enclosure, Amazonian enclosure for him. It's going to be really cool. But then we're down in the dungeon. Now the dungeon is full of a whole bunch of different things. We have like all our rainbow boas down here. I mean, look at how big this is. This is a big Colombian rainbow boa. We have some giants that have been around a long time, but we've got, again, rainbow boas here. I mean, take a look at this snake right here. Oh my goodness. That is a Suriname boa. And it is not a friendly one, that is for sure. We have, you know, our Dumerals boas down here. We've got, oh, I gotta show you these. Take a look at this. Look at that. Got a little bit of shed on it, but this is a D'Albert's python, and it's a giant D'Albert's python. This is the northern, which have that more coppery look, and then this is the southern that are more black. Again, I gotta tell you guys, these are 2 of some of the biggest D'Albert's pythons or white-lipped pythons I've ever seen in my entire life. So they are absolutely incredible. These animals definitely are gonna go on display somewhere. But then we have Savu pythons, we have, you know, carpet pythons, which, by the way, I was excited about this. Take a look at this. Look at that ovulation. So she's full of eggs right now. So we're definitely gonna produce some carpet pythons this year, which is really exciting. This side are our mangrove snakes, our children's and spotted pythons. We have a couple of our overflow animals. Remember this girl, Snow White, that Lori bought me at Tinley Park last time in October. So Snow White is doing really well over here. Then we have Goldie here. Look at how beautiful Goldie is. These are basically educational animals, overflow educational animals. Now I'm definitely going to want to put these into larger enclosures when we get across the street. Some will be on display, some will still be behind the house, back of the house, just for education, but we keep our overflow educational animals here. We've got like bearded dragons and a few other things on this side. So this is another almost like Flamin' Hot, but this is actually Clementine here. So again, very similar orange, beautiful bearded dragon. Of course, RJ's pond over here. My boy, I love him to death. You know, I used to feed him all the time. Now the girls down here, Maria and Alyssa, they baby him. And since they've been babying him, he's getting big. There's no doubt about it. So he's going to need a bigger pond, and we're going to definitely accommodate that bigger pond soon. Something on the horizon that we have to keep on going. And all the ball python breeders are down here, right? So basically we have our males on this side, you know, about halfway down, and then we got all our breeder females here and arrive around the other side. Lastly, we have all of the razor snakes and baby ball pythons that are going out for sale. Look at this animal right here. This is such a cool, you don't understand how cool this is. This is actually a Cine Woma paint ball python. The paint is a super cool gene that not a lot of people are working with, and it's so absolutely incredible. And then the Cine Woma, I'm sure this is the only Cine Woma paint in existence, but that is a cool animal. And we just have all our different stuff. Like, look at this animal here. This is actually a pewter mystery gene. It's just so cool, you know. So these are all razors right up here. All this is razors here, keepers as well. That we have some really cool stuff. Of course, this is one of our pies that we're bringing up, which is a super orange dream yellow belly Enchi leopard pie ball python. Look at the head on that, absolutely stunning. Another one of our keeper pies, this black pastel black-headed piebald ball python. I mean, geez, Pete, come on, guys. That's just absolutely ridiculous, right? And then, of course, I haven't showed these guys in some time, but these are actually Ivy's babies. I mean, look at how good they're doing. They're getting really big. We've definitely found homes for some. There's no doubt about it. We still have quite a few of them left, and I want to still keep them all, but the fact is that I can't keep that many anacondas. There's no doubt about it. You can see they're not only getting pudgy and big, they're also really, really docile now. If you're in the market for an anaconda, I tell you, now's the time to get one. And the rest is just for sale stuff. Like, these are all the pies that we had this year. We have a couple racks of piebald ball pythons that are always so popular, and even dreamsicles, which are lavender pies, which is the double recessive mutation, and then just tons of other stuff. So this whole rack on both sides. Lastly, we have our samboas, our Kenyan samboas. I mean, look at how beautiful this Kenyan samboa is. And hopefully we'll have some babies this year. That would be really amazing. I've been breeding Kenyan samboas literally since I was 18 years old, 17, 18 years old. We've got Kenyans, we've got rough scales, and of course we have smooth scale Indian samboas as well. So that wraps up the dungeon. Looks like Speedy didn't devour all of his greens. What's up, Speedy? Tell me what's on your mind. What you want? You want some different types of greens? You didn't like those greens? So we've switched to a more like dark green, which is more nutritious for him, instead of like romaine that is just basically no nutrition at all. And he, I think, is kind of revolting right now. He's saying, Dad, what is going on? Why is this happening? Why are you giving me these dark greens? I want some other type of stuff. But hey, we got to keep him healthy and happy. And like I said, it won't be too long and he'll come home and he'll be wandering around eating grass all summer long. But anyways, come with me, guys. Walking again through the cupboard room like we want. I just want to show you where the offices is, just so you get an idea here. Steph working diligently hard, packing up shipments and stuff like that. Lori, hi, Lori. So here we have just some of our overflow animals. See, this summit Sam, who is, of course, our African bullfrog or pixie frog. Of course, Sam was his dad, so he's the son of Sam. We have this guy here that I love to death. He's a little hyper when he's first trying to get out, but this is the, woo, calm down. This is the Egyptian Uromastyx that we have. Again, I've talked about this before, that these Egyptians get huge, like 3 foot big. So, woo, they are crazy. We'll get him tamed out. There's no doubt about it. He'll be amazing. We do have a couple other frill dragons. Seem to have frill dragons everywhere. That's the problem, is like we keep on producing frill dragons and I just keep keeping all of them because they're so amazing. So we have 3 more frill dragons over here. But again, you got to remember, when we go across the street, we're going to want to have these frill dragons across the street. We're going to have frill dragons here. Then we have our ornate Uromastyx, which is a smaller species of Uromastyx. Look at how beautiful these guys, and these guys are definitely mellow compared to the Egyptian. There's no doubt about that. And they're super, super friendly. I mean, look at them just come up and just hang out with you. What's going on, bud? Little chin pet there. You know, he loves it to death. So these guys will again have a display over at the new place. That's going to be really exciting. And then just another frill dragon of all things here. And then our offices are up here. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea. And again, well, let's finish the tour up by doing this. If you walk out this door, this is BHB, and you walk this way, this is the entrance into the reptarium. So that kind of gives you an idea of the entire compound of what it's like here. Now, when we're in a room or we're doing something, now you'll know exactly where we are as far as what's going on, because I know a lot of people come here and go, I'm so confused where everything is. Now I hope you understand. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, there's a playlist that you can watch all kinds of videos. You can also hit that subscription button. It would mean a lot to me. Also, hit that like button while you're down there. Have a wonderful day, Reptile Army. Remember, be kind to someone, and I promise I'll see you in the next one.